Hello everyone, I am the Exenarch, and we just entered this area.
Welcome, young ones. So glad you have joined the party. You are the guests of honor. After all, it's your wake.
Who are you? Dr. Marcus?
No, you can't be. What's going on?
10 years ago, Spencer had me assassinated.
Ah, plot is happening. I think this was Shadowrun, given all these assassination attempts that go on between people of even the same corporation. Spoiler warning, it happens more often in the later parts of the game.
I will take over your research.
Wesker. Birkin.
However, something wondrous happened. It took the T-virus inside of my queen years to procreate my new life.
Huh. Yeah, so he became one with his little babies.
I live. Now I will have my revenge on Umbrella. And the world will burn in an inferno of hate.
You'll pay for what you've done.
We'll see which one of us is gonna die.
This game is doing so well, too. Well. Sound is a bit disjointed. Oh yeah, he's in danger. Okay then. Am I in danger now? Nope. What am I doing? How are we all doing, really? Enjoying all this acid? Why aren't you dead yet? Seriously. Billy, maybe fire off some of those, Okay. Well, the grenade launcher is over. Just going to be a hit point sponge, huh? Of course you are. I see shinies. They'll probably, you know what, I'll just give him the other one. Then we're gonna go back and get our other health items. Okay, so is there even any more? Oh, there's magnum rounds around here somewhere. Oh, there is something for the grenade launcher. Fair enough. Oh, that's in the next room though. And my computer is having a hard time with this room. Well, I'm glad all these leeches that could have easily murdered us at any point in time are not murdering us right now. Nope, there it is. Just what I was looking for. Alright, let's go back and get some stuff. And hopefully he won't be alive when I come back.
You stay here.
Okay.
I meant to press the map button. I don't know why I keep using... Whatever. I guess this way might be a bit faster. Oh, no. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, come on. The button to call it down is right there. For crying crying out loud. Just disappointments all over. I mean, it's one big thing to have like a big sprawling map and you have to get around it. You know, I'm used to this in video games. It's not so big that I'm having too much of a problem finding where I'm going. But, I mean, come on. The button to call the thing down is right there. All she had to do is press it. Or at least not lock me into... Ugh! You're so irritating. You know what, whatever. Let me, just forget it. How much space do I have for healing items anyway? I have one with her and one with him. Now in that room there's enough stuff to make more healing items, so I could have each of them with 2. Actually I could pull more if because I think with him I'm going to have him also drop off his Molotovs and she'll drop off the grenade launcher. And then she'll just rely on the Magnum at this point. There's apparently grenades in the next save room. But I'd be hard-pressed to find out if 20-some Magnum rounds wouldn't be enough. Well, whatever. Let's do this. Wasn't I just here? Right. This is what happens when I'm... Oh, I don't know. I just wasn't paying attention. All of this problem could have been solved if I just had my item trunk from the first 3 from the original Resident Evil trilogy. It just could have been solved just like that. Just bam. You have your items, you don't have to backtrack for them. I mean, it's not like this because zombies don't just randomly pop up in this game. There is an... I don't really want to call it an ecosystem, but I mean, there is like a limited set of zombies that don't necessarily respawn except at certain times. I mean, it's not like if you just sit idle somewhere, they'll just appear, like in, I think it was the Left 4 Dead series or something like that, where if the game feels like you're getting a bit too bored, then bam, horde of zombies. So backtracking to get your stuff isn't like a problem. It's not a thing they have to plan for in terms of resources. In fact, you'd think that'd be something they would think to do. I mean, in order to kind of... It would make more sense to me if that's the kind of resource management that they enforced in the game, but they didn't. Instead, it's just an irritating... And I get it that I suppose this would... The problem with saying it's more realistic that they wouldn't have like an item that just gives them its own space-time continuum where you could pull it out from anywhere, but that's not really what it's about. It's just about not having to do this. So, I suppose on one hand, though, that if you're trying to go through the game while doing a minimum, getting through the game faster requires that you backtrack less, so you have to be much more conservative with your items and maybe force you to use them more. I suppose I could see it that way. But still, this playthrough right here is much more casual. I mean, I've certainly taken so much time and used so many saves that I'm definitely not getting any kind of halfway decent rating or any of the time completion based bonuses that you would normally get in a game like this. For example, in Resident Evil Classic or Resident Evil 1, you would get bonuses for completing the game in a certain amount of speed, using fewer saves. I almost call them saving throws. Too much Pathfinder on the mind recently. So what I'll do is I'll just leave this here. Whatever grenades I get from, really, you put it right in, no, fine, I'll take it. Oh. I thought there was something underneath it. Bloody hell. Let me leave things wherever I want. In fact, to be honest, I'd rather carry the handgun with me than the grenade launcher. That anymore. She will give him the herbal mix. She'll give him that herbal mix. So in addition to these items, I guess I can also go and pick up the ink ribbon. Alright, we're all full up. Let's go. Alright, Rebecca is ready to go. You are not, though. Alright, now we're ready to go. Stupid frog shows up again, it will simply die. Just... Maybe I killed the only one. So I believe this one had the, where is it? There it is. Come on, Billy. Oh, good. At least with the area transitions like that, I don't have to worry that Billy wasn't following me. Come on. No, that wasn't it. So, yeah, I suppose my tuning fork analogy wasn't as adept as I thought it was, because everything meets at the bottom, so it's just a spoon with a hole in the middle of it. Foul-smelling spoon. Tell me about them. Nothing? You have nothing to say about all the sliming, squirmy mess? Rebecca's been terribly unreactive this whole game.
I'll go.
Yeah.
Oh, one last, okay. Alright, I have all my most powerful ammunition.
You stay here.
Okay.
Oh. No, you
Follow
come.
me.
Okay.
Stop being so confusing! Let's pick up our final bits of ammunition and then I'll save. Not yet. That looks like regular handgun. Oh, there's two of those. Did I accidentally put in the easy game? Oh, come on. Just hang on to that for a minute. There we go. So there's no magnum rounds in here. I think it's just this room that's not, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we'll save. She'll drop off the ink ribbon, and then we'll head to the new area. We'll head to the bottom. Or save number 20. As you may very well be the final save. Actually, I will do both. It's not for any... No, we're fine. We should have plenty of ammunition to end anything that we come across. And far more healing items than we probably need. I've done far more with far less in other Resident Evil games. Although when I played those, I didn't have quite the slowdown problems that this one does, but that's my computer's fault.
What?
It's the Queen!
I thought he was a Bishonen, but...
The self-destruct system has been activated.
Why is there always a destruct system?
Evacuate immediately. Repeat.
Who activated the self-destruct system?
Come on, can't this thing move any faster?
At least the sound is keeping up with the graphics.
Shit!
Alright, rush right into it.
The self-destruct system has been activated. All personnel evacuate.
Ow.
Repeat.
Well, it's definitely had its Red Bull. Ow. How am I doing on health? Surprisingly well.
The self-destruct system has been activated. All personnel evacuate immediately. Repeat.
Where am I?
The self-destruct system has been activated. All personnel evacuate immediately. Repeat.
Alright. You guys should have played this game in hard mode.
Billy, can't handle sunlight. We need to open the windows.
Seriously.
Follow me. You work on the windows.
Got it.
I'll use my charm to distract Her Majesty.
Gate operation manual.
Self-destruct system has been activated.
To open the heliport in case of emergency, follow the procedures below.
Repeat.
Removing the lock. There are 4 locking mechanisms. The southwest, northwest, southeast, and west. So 3 on the west side, on the upper, middle, and lower, and then 1 on the northwest.
The self-destruct system has been activated. All personnel evacuate immediately. Repeat.
Was I supposed to control him? Yes.
Self-destruct system has been activated. All personnel evacuate immediately. Repeat. The self-destruct system has been activated. All personnel evacuate immediately.
Oh, she's fine. Hi there. Ow!
The self-destruct system has been activated. All personnel evacuate immediately. Repeat.
Ow. Still fine. Okay.
The self-destruct system has been activated. All personnel evacuate immediately. Repeat. The self-destruct system has been activated. All personnel evacuate immediately. Repeat.
Well, it's not as awesome as a rocket launcher ending, but, something, I guess. Just now in caution. I think I'll be okay.
The self-destruct system has been activated.
Are we done yet?
Personnel
Is this
evacuate
over?
Immediately. Repeat.
Okay. Maybe share some of that, nice mojo.
Activated. All personnel evacuate immediately. Repeat.
Or not. We don't have to.
The self-destruct system has been activated. All personnel evacuate immediately.
It's nice to let. Please kill this thing. It trapped me in a corner now. That's 4 of them, isn't it? Why is it opening the windows so... Oh, because it's not the windows, it's the,
Billy!
Hey, Queenie!
Queenie.
Feast on this!
No, Billy. No. I pumped that thing full of Magnum rounds and it didn't fall like that. Whatever.
Rebecca, hurry!
Good for you.
Hey, that must be the old mansion that Enrico was talking about. I guess it's time to say goodbye. Officially, Lieutenant Billy Cohen is dead.
Yeah, just a zombie now. Thank you, Rebecca.
And I guess that's how that ends. From the frying pan into the fryer. So, this is my first time playing Resident Evil 0, and I have to say that it was... I don't even know, because this game... This game definitely hit all the high notes. It's very technically well made. But it just seemed... I just got the feeling every time, you know, at every major point in the game that it's just like... It's just like the people who made this were tired of making it. Like, they went through all the major design points, they made all the monsters. The monster designs were... The monsters in this game were pretty lazy. And I mean, I get that giant versions of everyday monsters. I mean, Resident Evil 1 had the giant snake, a bunch of giant spiders, and so on and so forth in that regard. And Resident Evil 2 and 3 had those as well. I mean, every Resident Evil game has those, for the most part. I think Resident Evil 4 doesn't. But it's just like, you know, you can tell this is like the 4th, 5th, or whatever title in this series, and they're just kind of done in this respect. And I got the similar vibe from Code Veronica, but Code Veronica, I think, just kind of had a better story behind it overall, and it didn't seem like that they were just tired. I did like the final monster design. I was one of the reasons I was looking forward to playing Resident Evil 0. I mean, despite, you know, the fact that that I had heard that this game wasn't definitely not one of the high points of the series, at least for a main title. Because I mean, they didn't just make like 1, 2, 3, 4 Code Veronica in this. There's like by the time this game came out, I mean, this was a full-on franchise, and there were like dozens of off-brand titles as well. So, I mean, this game has just tired. It's like, okay, well, this is our plan for making Resident Evil. We'll do a monster here, and this is where we'll put the resources. And I mean, there was just no enthusiasm behind any point. It was just, you got from point A to point B. And it was just about that exciting, which is really a crying shame, because this is... I really like the idea that Rebecca Chambers was a main character. I sincerely wish that she was a stronger presence in the Resident Evil franchise. Like, she's in this one, and she's in Resident Evil 1, and there's a picture of her in Resident Evil 2, but she is nowhere in the Resident Evil franchise, and that is... And I suppose I do like the idea that, I mean, it's not just the same characters over and over again, but they did end up kind of doing that with Leon, Chris, and Jill. Mostly Leon. Leon's been in several titles in the franchise, and Chris came back every now and again, or Jill had her own few points in the franchise. So I do like the idea that it's like a character can say, well, I survived it, I just want to live my life now. It'd be fun if more franchises did that. Instead of like, oh boy, here's my 5th or 6th outing in this survival-based situation. But still, I just wish there could have been at least a little bit more. Maybe they can acknowledge her in a new title or something. But it wasn't an unenjoyable experience. It wasn't... My experience with this game, definitely, it really felt like a slog at certain points in time, and I just... And I think that might just be because I was trying to go through it quickly, because normally when I play a new game like this, I'm definitely very methodical. I rely on strategy guides, which means there's a lot more sitting around time. And it's just me kind of fighting my nature to do that. At least with a title that I'm completely unfamiliar with, including this one, and there will probably be other ones in the future, because I own a lot of games now, and not just like the games that I bought back in the day before like I had regular internet access and such. I have I don't have any of my Genesis or Super Nintendo titles anymore, or I never really owned a Super Nintendo, but I did have Sega Genesis and the original Nintendo. Anyway, what was I saying? Anyway, I do have a lot of video game titles, a lot of which I claimed from Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo. Treatment plan. Hey, Queenie, feast on this achievement unlocked. 35 saves, 31 recoveries. What does that mean? What does it mean by recovery? 645 shots, 107 kills. 15 hours. Honestly, I was expecting it to be longer than that. I mean, a long playthrough for a game like this would probably be 5 hours if you were familiar with it, but I really did take my time. Although I imagine my first playthroughs through Resident Evil 1 and 2 were definitely no different. By the time I got to 3, I think it was in much better position. You can now play Leech Hunter. Oh boy. Can now play Wesker mode. What is Wesker mode? I'll oversave this one. Billy? So, what was I hold on, I'm not done talking yet. I want to talk about things related to this game. I'll just go back to the title screen. So, yeah, I mean, I own a ton of games, far more than I ever owned before, and I still have all of my PlayStation 1 and 2 titles, and that's PlayStation 2 is pretty much where my time playing games came to a screeching halt, thanks to, you know, living life. Money, responsibilities. Seriously, what is Wesker mode? Shadow dash. Hold B and release to perform a forward dash. Is this just playing the regular game, or is this... if I continue this game in Wesker mode or whatever, but I might end up saving that until my replay through of this. But anyway, I still have all my PlayStation 1 and 2 titles for the most part. I think I had lost a few. Rebecca, it looks like in one of my shiny new outfits that I paid for. Maybe he takes Billy's place. Whatever. Yeah, so, as I was saying, yeah, I have all these games, certainly far more than I've actually played. I've played most of my PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 titles. I've been buying off and on games on Steam for the most part. And, where was I even going with this? It doesn't matter. Anyway, my experience with Resident Evil 0. So, yeah, this is a fairly mediocre game for me. I really wish Rebecca was, even if as a bonus option or something in some of the other games. But who knows? I never played Resident Evil 5, 6, or 7. I played it only up to 4. And I probably won't play any of the 5, 6, or 7 probably until I have a better laptop or computer to play them on. Because as you can see, they barely handled Resident Evil 0. I don't think they'll handle the HD Resident Evil 1 title that I also have on Steam. So I think I'm just going to hold that off until much later. But yeah, I can't really say that I completely enjoyed this game. But I definitely do feel like that I could play it again. And maybe I'll enjoy it better on subsequent playthroughs. And maybe, although the next Resident Evil title is going to be Resident Evil 1 Classic. Well, sort of. Probably one of the DualShock. The DualShock version, on the original CDs, I own just about every version of the original Resident Evil. So I'll probably end up playing one of those. Although I'll probably go with the classiciest of classics and do the original. Because the DualShock version actually has like a revised soundtrack. One that I like for the most part. I mean, it's kind of a sideways movement as outside of one or two particular soundtracks that I think were fairly famous on the internet by now. Anyway, that was Resident Evil 0. It was okay. A 5.5 out of 10. Would play again. So, my biggest complaints about this game, outside of just the uninspiring roster of villains and monsters in this game, as well as the other, also completely uninspiring just storyline behind the game. I mean, like the original Resident Evil just kind of threw these people. They were all frightened of their situation, and they made no bones about it. But Rebecca had a much stronger personality, being a side character in Resident Evil 1. Here, I mean, she has all this horror around her, and granted, I know that, you know, I'm the one playing her and I'm the one guiding her throughout the game, but even in like the text descriptions of things she's looking at, it's all fairly mundane. She just seems to go through it like a paladin and is immune to fear. Billy really isn't any different. I mean, you would expect, even in the cutscenes or something like that, they only seem to react just as, like, you know, scary things suddenly jumps in front of you, and then they step back. Otherwise, they just seem, is the word nonplussed about the whole situation? I need to look that up. I use that word a lot. But I don't think it means what I think it means. That's a what? Person surprised and confused so much they aren't sure how to react. Not disconcerted, unperturbed. Yeah, actually. Yeah. the two of them just seem to be nonplussed throughout this whole situation. And the controlling for the other characters in the other Resident Evil titles seem at least, kind of terrified. I'm ready to get out of here. Even just something simple like that. So I don't know. Maybe my impression will change in a different playthrough. I don't know, but yeah. I don't really remember how much hate this game had gotten from people when it was released. I mean, I knew I wanted to play it as soon as I heard about it. I mean, a prequel, you get to play as Rebecca leading up to the events of the original Spencer Mansion. Sign me up. I heard that the only thing I remember is that people were saying it wasn't good, and I don't really necessarily agree with that, but that doesn't really that great either. It's just okay. So I'm hoping that additional playthroughs will allow me to see the game differently. I definitely look forward to that point, but I really need it to be on a better computer system because the slowdowns and the other graphical problems was just intolerable. And it took a lot to get it down even to a point of playability, just like I had to do with Xenoverse 2, which is also making me a bit hesitant about getting fighters as well. Xenoverse 2, I at least got to a point to where the slowdown was not as irritating as it was, and I had to turn down the graphics options on that a lot. So, but by the time I get a new computer, I'm sure Xenoverse 3 will be out. If not, I wouldn't mind playing through it again. I already have nearly 600 hours into it. I could probably do it a couple more times. Anyway, thanks for joining me, everyone. Take care, and see you later.